Alright, Joe here, welcome back to We Need to Talk. This is the show that looks at football on the internet over the past 7 days. The 7 days that has seen Jesse Lingard trigger the entire internet with this video.
On to Jamal, bro. Shagging arrows,
Dimitar Berbatov waiting for the Premier League to start. And Hector Bellerin go full Derek Zoolander. Anyway, this week we need to talk about Joao Felix. Now, I'm sure by now everybody has seen the news that Joao Felix has indeed joined Atletico Madrid, or at least is on the verge of joining Atletico Madrid. Apparently, the announcement will be made once all the payments have been completed. The 19-year-old will become Atletico Madrid's record signing at an astronomical 120 million euros. That is his buyout clause. Let's not forget this guy has had one full season of professional football. But here is where things start to get a little bit shady. Enter Jorge Mendes. Now, we have, of course, talked about super agents on this show. Roll back a few weeks ago when we were chatting about Mino Raiola trying to convince Matthias de Ligt to join PSG for the old, better future prospects and a definite better team in a better league and a real chance to become a future superstar and legend of that club. Well, Jorge Mendes is probably Mino Raiola plus 10%, with his agency Gestafu, the home of nearly every major Portuguese footballer, including Cristiano Ronaldo and managers like Jose Mourinho. He's also the man that has masterminded and sort of lubricated the whole Wolves turnaround, in which loads of Portuguese players and top level players have joined the Black Country club out of real desire to play for Wolverhampton Wanderers. A few people at home might be saying, but Jorge Mendes isn't dodgy, he's just a businessman. If you don't believe me that Jorge Mendes is a bit dodgy, just type into Google right now, or at least at the end of the video, Jorge Mendes and Besiktas, and see what comes up. And just give a few of those articles a read, because I'm not going to explain it, but shocking. So back to the Joao Felix situation, and of course he is Portuguese, so Jorge Mendes is his agent, or at least Gestafu are listed as his agency, which is owned by Jorge Mendes. Now, the fee, 120 million euros, it's a lot of money, but I'm not saying he's not worth it. Clearly a potential future superstar and has had an amazing season. If Atletico Madrid want to pay that fee, let them pay that fee. What I'm taking issue with is Jorge Mendes taking 30% of that fee. That's 36 million euros into Jorge Mendes' pocket for the transfer of a 19-year-old footballer. Now, the media outlet reporting this is El Chicharito. It's also being confirmed by Marca, and it's not technically illegal. Third-party ownership across Europe happens regularly, and it's only really banned officially by the Premier League and in England. In Portugal, in Italy, in Spain, it happens a lot. In fact, the article doesn't actually detail whether this is third-party ownership or whether he is simply taking a 30% commission, which would be even more mind-blowing given that the average agent fee is 5%. A 30% commission for this transfer. In either circumstance, I'm putting forward the case that this should probably be illegal. I don't think any adult should be able to control a teenage footballer's future career based on 8-figure sums paid to him by a club. It is effectively legal bribery. And this isn't me saying that him joining Atletico Madrid is a mistake either. If he is seen as the long-term replacement for Antoine Griezmann, he's joining a club that's going to compete for La Liga titles, that's going to compete on the top European stage. What I'm taking issue with is Jorge Mendes guiding him to clubs based on the fact he's going to earn a bigger payout than if he was to join an English team, because they can't pay that much in agency fees or at all in third-party ownership fees. So for me, I'm putting forward the case that any transfer of an under-23 player in Europe, the agency fees should either be capped or scrapped altogether. I don't think this is ever going to happen because UEFA earn too much money from it, FIFA earn too much money from it, and influential, the godfather of football basically, Jorge Mendes right now, earns way too much money from it. But for me, it's just a little bit wrong. What do you guys at home think? Should Jorge Mendes, though, be able to take 36 million euros of a 120 million euro fee for the transfer of a 19-year-old Joao Felix, who could be a future superstar? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on to the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is about Furlan Mende. His life story is truly incredible. After losing his father aged 11, he suffered a serious hip injury aged 14, which left him wheelchair-bound, and he was told he would never play football again. He was then released by PSG, and now he is doing kick-ups at the Bernabeu. That is one of the best turnarounds you'll ever see from a young player, just 24 years of age. I really hope he succeeds at Madrid, because from wheelchair to the Bernabeu is just fantastic. The bad is all about Ravel Morrison, the infamous ex-Manchester United wonderkid who has been playing for the last 6 months at Östersunds, of course Graham Potter's former club. Now, he was due to rejoin the side for pre-season training over the next couple of weeks, but the CEO of Östersunds has come out this week and said that he packed up his bags at the end of the season and hasn't been seen since. He has since left Östersunds without even talking to the club. Ravel, what more does football have to do to this guy? Like, what has gone on with Ravel? Obviously supremely talented. He's f***ed off every club he's been at now. It's just incredible. If anybody knows any more about his story, please tweet it to me, because I'm always intrigued by Ravel Morrison, and this is just the latest in a totally bizarre journey, and clearly it's going from bad to worse for what's now no longer a youngster. Moving on to the ugly, and it's everybody's favourite legendary French footballer and non-corrupt president of UEFA, Michel Platini. He has been arrested yet again this week. He has since been released and questioned over his involvement in bribery around the Qatar 2022 World Cup. Oh, I don't even want to... I'm not going to waste my words on Platini, because he'll probably sue me if I actually say what I think of him. You know, a really lovely guy. So that's it for this, as usual, phoned-in episode of We Need to Talk. Let me know what you thought of the whole Joao Felix situation in the comments below. If you did enjoy this, make sure you go over to Euro Football Daily and watch Continental Club, where we discussed far more serious topics, including Serie A next season. Thanks very much for watching. Au revoir.